Hi guys, and welcome to the Rapid Growth Weekly Vibes from the 13th to the 19th of July. So we're going to move this week into a place in a moment where you're going to find yourself thinking back to the last 6 months. We're still a little bit in that, the way that we ended last week, we're still going to feel a little bit in that transition, but we are transitioning out of that. So as I said last week, start to do things and connect to things that really truly makes you happy. Things that you feel you can connect to bring a little bit of joy back into your life, because what we're going through, guys, is just a passing phase. As everything else, there's also that quote, this too shall pass. So keep that in mind, and keep also your eye on the end goal, which is, funnily enough, also what you'll be doing this week. You'll be looking back at the past, maybe mistakes that were made, maybe things that you thought, oh, I could have done that better. And if that's you, then be okay with that, because your dreams are going to be calling you soon, and I hope that you're going to answer that. And so what I would like you to so be mindful when you start to think back to things that you might have done wrong, mistakes that you've made. You might feel and see, wow, my future is looking a little bit bleak, because with this pandemic and with the COVID and everything still popping its head up and out of circumstances, you're going to continue to feel the memories being triggered of times that you went through of the pandemic, the lockdown. So some of these triggers are going to happen, but these are going to be implicit memories, which means you're not necessarily going to have conscious awareness of why you feel bad, why you feel stressed. So just have an awareness at the moment that you start to feel bad, take conscious action and think, wow, maybe something was triggered from the past, and that's why I feel bad. So my best advice to you in that moment is to look at your environment, look at your surroundings. Do I see something that can validate the negative state that I'm feeling right now? And if I do, how applicable is that really truly to my life and my quality of life as well? That's a very important perspective to start adapting to start to move out of this negative state and place that we're starting to get out of. But life happens, things are going to happen, and it's going to try to make you feel like you're being pulled back into that old negative state. But what you're being pulled back into is to a past that is no longer real anymore, because we are changing, things are changing, we are healing, we are moving forward to a much stronger and peaceful place. So what this vibe could also bring in for you is a sense of survival mode. So you might feel like, wow, this needs to happen, I need to provide, I need to secure. Be mindful when you go into that state, because when we are in that place of survival mode, all that we think of is just purely surviving. We don't think of the little bit and important little things that might actually still be important to us as well, and that can be neglected. And by the time we snap out of that survival mode, we see that more damage is actually being done, rather than us trying to fix something as being perceived, being a threat to our survival, but then seeing that there's other structures around you and your life that's collapsed in the meantime. So when you feel that panic, once again, guys, just have a look at your environment. Is what I feel and see and sense really truly applicable to me and my quality of life as well? That's going to be a very big theme this week, and if you lose track with that, you're going to feel this week much harder and much more, a lot more emotional than any other week. Also this week, what you might find is that there might be some family quarrel, some family dilemma. Someone in your family could have a problem, and you're going to want to help. You're going to try to look for a solution. But the cool part about this vibe is it's all about problem solving. So if something does arise, do know that a solution will be presented, and you will find an easy way out of it without probably even having to do anything. And so what the situation with the family and the circumstances will also bring up is being a problem solver is going to get you back in that mode and into that mood of wanting to serve, wanting to help other people. So if that's you, allow yourself to step into that, because as I explained to you in the July overcast, July is all about uniting, reuniting, reconnecting, supporting, and being of service. Because the moment your focus and your shift goes to other people, you're going to feel yourself just divinely supported with that path. But if you're going to start to be selfish and just keep it within yourself, you're going to feel very unsupported. And most likely, whatever it is that you try to tackle, the universe is just not really going to support it. Because July is all about healing and rebuilding, despite, some things that will still politically go wrong. We're still going to have, potential riots. We can still have people that's angry. We still have people that's hurting. There's still wounded people from the past. And this is now part of the healing process, because as we heal, things come up. They don't just go away automatically by itself. And I know that you know that, right? The moment we have an intention to heal, that is when things can come up. So instead of fighting, it's better to actually heal together. So if you feel that need, that desire to start to feel and be of service, dive into that. Just see who's around you. Just observe who needs support, who needs help, and be exactly that for them. Now, another tangent to this weekly vibe is you're going to feel allergies flaring up. You're going to feel your stomach flaring up a little bit as well. And if you do, remember the psychosomatic patterns behind allergies. You know, it's about looking at things that have been long-term now been going wrong, things that have been long-term being stressful, and feeling offended or defensive as a result during that process, and then making an association with your environment, that your environment is also now being part of the stress, but not the cause of the stress, but it's there, it's in the environment. So these aspects can now trigger certain subconscious memories that's been layered into your subconscious mind and the emotional body as well. And of course, how the immune system functions as well, because all our immune systems have taken a beating, it's taken a toll because of the long-term stress. So you might feel that your immune system is a little bit lower than what it normally is, and your body feels overly aware of anything that might feel foreign and being overly defensive towards that, which is exactly explaining our emotional states lately as well. And then also the stomach area, it's about not feeling able to emotionally digest the stress that's going on in your life anymore. And that's okay, guys. It's okay to feel and have an awareness of some weaknesses that we might have, and to make peace with that. Because if you're starting to find yourself having stomach problems as well, just adjust your diet a little bit and allow it to be a little bit more gentler on you, and it will pass. It will pass this week. It's just a coming phase. So we will move out of that as well. And also just keep in mind, this week you might feel a little bit more prone, a little bit more vulnerable to substance abuse. So maybe alcoholism, smoking, you know, whatever it is that gives you an escape, you might find yourself indulging in that a little bit too much. So be mindful of it. And here's really good advice. Remember the things that you did earlier through the lockdown, through the pandemic, when it went through a height. Remember the coping mechanisms that I spoke of and I invited you to start adapting to, that's healthier, because that time frame gave you an opportunity to revise how you cope with stress, to revise what you do when you go into survival mode, and to make sure that that foundation that is built on is healthy, that it's strong, that it can actually help you through the process and not actually deeper into the ditch. Okay, so be mindful of, you know, any addictive behavior, because you're going to feel a need to escape perhaps some stress. Escape it in a healthy way. It's like when you saw in last week's video, you know, the guy that was rowing behind me, he's just sailing through life. He's doing what he loves to escape all the stress. My husband was swimming behind me in an ice cold lake, because that's his way of, you know, de-stressing, decompressing. So my way is also perhaps just being here in nature. Hence is why I'm here with the flowers. I absolutely love flowers, and I feel so happy when I'm surrounded by them. Now, this is one of many coping mechanisms that I, for example, have. I don't always roll in flowers when I'm upset, but you get my point, right? You get my point. So instead of reaching out for that unhealthy substance, maybe try to remember what you did in the past that was healthy, that was constructive, to help you to cope and to deal with how you're feeling during this week as well. Because, as again, everything comes to a pass at some point in time, but it's how we cope with it that will determine the level of stress that we feel, and how much stress do we take away from that situation with us into a new situation that could potentially ruin a new positive situation. So guys, let's go when it's time to let go, and if a day that went bad is over, let it be exactly that, over. So until next week, be the light that you are.
Hi guys, thank you for joining me, and remember to grab your copy of Metaphysical Anatomy on Amazon, 679 medical ailments. And I also wrote about the psychosomatic root causes of that, and I'm spoiling you because I even added key points for you to start looking at important questions that you can ask yourself to start improving your quality of life. And also remember to catch me on Instagram, Evette Rose, 1 with the digit 1, and Metaphysical Anatomy on our Facebook fan page. Bye guys.